Harry who? He's not supposed to exist.
The genres that this book falls under are novel, fantasy fiction, adventure fiction, high
Welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles to some sort of corner over here, right?
I think we're still calling it Squibs Corner. Is that right? Is that what we're doing?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, second
whatever.
season. Why change things up at this point? I'm Jeremiah.
And I'm Andrew.
And we are finally on book 2.
Finally on book 2.
What you got going on right now, Andrew?
Well, here's something I wanted to do. That I literally saw this about 5 minutes before we hopped on.
All right.
So it's a little game. Not really a game, but just let's see how your mind works, how my mind works.
Does this have anything to do with the chapter? Because I did tell you I forgot to listen to it. I took a nap instead.
No, but it has everything to do with Harry Potter.
All right.
So we're going to go through each of the houses, and you have to choose a celebrity that you think exemplifies that house.
And you know my list of celebrities in my head, so.
That's okay. That's okay for somebody that has never watched anything. Except for Harry Potter.
I know some things like math and whatnot.
That's right. All right, so we're going to start with Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. Okay.
I know. I have a good one.
Yeah, this is just out of left field. Okay.
I know. You got this. I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
I know you hate that.
Gryffindor. Robin Williams.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. I had, I thought of Henry Cavill, the guy that plays Man of Steel, Superman.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Henry
I haven't
Cavill.
seen any of the. See, I don't even know if there's recent Superman, so I.
Okay. We listen and don't judge.
Yeah, we listen and we don't judge.
Okay, next we'll go Slytherin.
Slytherin.
You know who? I never watched. Oh! The guy that played Barty Crouch Jr. in Goblet of Fire. I believe he plays Doctor Who.
I just seen him on TikTok. He's a comedian.
He's a funny dude.
He was on stage doing stand up. I was like, what?
I hate that I don't know his name.
Slytherin. Who would be Slytherin? Oh man, that's a hard one.
Yeah, David Tennant. Yeah, when he's kind of in his darker roles, kind of more sinister roles, I could see David Tennant as being like
the only person I could think of. He plays the same role in every movie, and the role he plays seems like he's very much into himself. Vince Vaughn is the only thing off the top of my head.
I love Vince Vaughn. That's hilarious.
I love Vince Vaughn too, but he's the only one
I could see that.
I could see having Slytherin tendencies.
Okay. All right, let's go Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff.
Oh. I mean, I know it's kind of cliche, but the one that just really jumps to my mind is Eddie Redmayne.
I don't know that one either.
He literally plays Newt Scamander in Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, we're on Hufflepuff, okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Will Ferrell. I got to put Will Ferrell in there.
I could see that. Just kind of like a friendly to all.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, and then we got Ravenclaw.
I'm going to go with Freddie Highmore. I got to include him.
I get that. I'm going to go with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay.
Maybe it's because he played a great Sherlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
All right, so mine are Henry Cavill, David Tennant, Eddie Redmayne, and who did I just say? Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. Those are my 4 off the cuff.
All right. Yeah, okay. Hey, you listening with the headphones or the speakers in the car. What are your 4?
Yeah, send us. Yeah, who are
Yeah.
your 4 celebrity representations of each house? That would be a fun one to see.
And let me tell you, if they're not better than mine, then we should be friends because neither of us watch too many television.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so now we are finally done with book 1. We're on book 2, and I said before, like, oh, book 1 went so quick, but now I don't know. It seems like it took a little bit when I sit and think about it, because I think, like we said, we started in November, I believe, maybe even sooner. And here it is, March 18th during this recording, and we're finally
March 18th?
March 18th.
Man, that seems like a special day.
No, there's nothing going on
It
March
couldn't
18th.
possibly be Jeremiah's birthday. Pew, 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 pew.
Who's that?
I know that because we're Facebook friends, and Facebook told me.
I get to work
It's your
today.
birthday.
Yeah, I got to work today. One of my coworkers walks out. He throws up his fist. Happy birthday, Jeremiah. And I'm like, how?
Yeah, you keeping tabs on me?
How did you know that? He's like, oh, they sent us emails. I said, oh, okay.
Everyone make sure to wish Jeremiah a happy birthday today.
Thank you. I won't be saying my age out loud, but I know I've said it before. So pop quiz, everybody listening. How old am I? I'm not going to tell you.
Are we 39 now, or we're 39? 40? 39, 38?
30. I think we're both 39 right now, right?
We're both 39 then.
The 39 Club. We're still
There we go.
millennials. Still millennials.
Are we?
I think so.
I never check on that stuff. I don't know.
I hope so. I don't want to be anything else. Elder millennials, I think is what
Yeah,
we're called.
don't bump me up a generation class on my birthday.
Oh man. All right.
Well,
so,
let's
let's go ahead and get started on book 2.
Okay, so let's start out with fun facts about book 2. It was originally published by Bloomsbury on July 2nd, 1998, and this is the second shortest.
Before you go farther, would you have liked to have seen Bloomsbury in America? Like Scholastic didn't even
I would have just rather, because I have a set of both. I've got Bloomsbury.
Oh, really?
And I enjoy reading the Bloomsbury more just because it's authentic to them, right? It's authentic to Britain. Yeah. And so I would have I don't think they needed to do the Scholastic stuff.
I get it,
but
I really
get
do.
it.
For the younger audience, okay, but for the older audience, I guess we can choose to go out and get the Bloomsbury edition. So
yeah. So it's the second shortest of the books. Obviously, the first book was a little shorter. And here's something cool.
I think this one's longer by like 20 pages or so.
Yeah, it's minimally one chapter, and like the chapter that we're going over today, it's a pretty short chapter. But when I was doing some research on Chamber of Secrets, the second book, the genres that this book falls under are novel, fantasy fiction, adventure fiction, high fantasy, and Bildungsroman. Wow. Bildungsroman.
What is that?
Well, I was going to say, why don't you give it a guess? Because I had to look it up. I had never seen this before.
Bildungsroman. That when I hear that, all I think about is like the movie 300, like that kind of era.
You've seen 300?
Yeah.
Don't say like I've seen a movie.
At this point, it's a classic.
All of our listeners and viewers are. I mention classics every episode, so don't come at me with I've seen 300. It's a classic. You're right. I agree with you 100%, but you cannot say that my shock of you seeing 300 is somehow out of nowhere. Okay, so everyone just calm down. I'm calm.
We listen and we don't judge.
We listen and we don't judge. Okay, so take a guess. What do you think this Bildungsroman is?
Some sort of Spartan-esque. That's all I got.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say you're not wrong, but this genre of book involves psychological and moral development of the protagonist. And I've never really thought of book one and book two that way, but overall,
no, it makes
Harry,
sense.
Yeah. So I liked seeing that.
Dang, throw some
85,000
Harry Potter, huh?
Yeah. 85,171 words, 341 pages, 18 chapters.
18. Oh.
Yeah. So here's a cool timeline. This I didn't know, and maybe it's because I didn't start reading the books until Goblet of Fire was out, so I really didn't know the timeline before that. So JK, she had the idea back in 1990 for the Harry Potter storyline. And like we talked about for book one, she was writing for 5 years. And like when she moved, she had boxes of stories and characters and stuff that she wanted to utilize in the Harry Potter story.
Imagine
itself.
being her family member that gets to go through all her stuff after she passes.
Imagine having 5 years worth of writing not saved on a computer.
Yeah.
These were in boxes.
It feels better to have everything written down because you got to think, oh, what if the computer crashes and I lose everything?
Sure.
Lose
No,
all
I
the
mean,
paperwork as well,
I could
too.
imagine, because I've seen video where she's using a typewriter. So I don't know if she did all of her stuff on a typewriter, but just the fact that, like when I was in chiropractic school, I had all 3.5 years worth of information on one external hard drive, and I could go in there and use the Command F key and type in a word or a phrase, and it would pull up all of the options, right?
Yeah,
so she's got 5 years of stories and sentences, things that she wants to add.
That's crazy.
So she's like, oh man, I remember that story. Which box did I put it in?
Right?
Like, just crazy. So anyway, so she starts writing Philosopher's Stone in 1995, sure, for 5 years. And then Philosopher's Stone was published in 1997. So here's what I didn't know. Chamber of Secrets was published in 1998. Prisoner of Azkaban, 1999. Goblet of Fire, 2000. So she published 4 best-selling novels 4 years in a row. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really follow, authors and stuff, but you got to think how much bigger the books get as they go. And for her to
Goblet of Fire was huge.
Yeah, in a year.
I mean, it was like double. Yeah.
Talk about being in the zone. She's the definition of in the zone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So while Chamber of Secrets is the second, shortest book, it has the longest movie.
Really?
Yeah, and it's the longest movie. Now, you could say book 7 has 2 movies, but yeah, it's the longest movie.
I never realized that.
It is sold around 77 million copies, which I thought was a little low because remember, Philosopher's Stone was over 100 million.
Yeah, 120, I think.
And what's wild is, Deathly Hallows was in the 50 millions. So altogether, her books have sold, over 400 or 500 million. So they've sold a lot. But I'm wondering, are these like the original copies? Because now they're coming out with the illustrated books. You've got it on Kindle. You've got the audio books. I wonder what specific metrics those are.
Well, I wonder how soon, because the first movie came out in 2001 towards the end of November. So I'm wondering if people like if there was talks about the Harry Potter movies coming out, and so people are kind of anticipating the movies over the books.
Maybe that's a possibility. But still, if the first, 1998, this is 3 years before the movie, and it was still low.
It's
So
it's unfortunate to think about because as things, the first one of anything does really good, the second one does pretty good, the third one does so. So it's unfortunate that kind of domino effect happens, but
yeah.
we can all see where it went. So yeah, those numbers do seem low. I mean,
Yeah.
especially people are still buying the books.
Yeah, people are still buying them.
Yeah. I'm wondering where these numbers come from, if they're up to date.
Well, as of today, the internet told me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Million.
Good old Google.
All right, so let's jump into the first paragraph, and then we'll go to our 7-word summary that we both prepared for.
Yes, I have mine.
Good. All right. First paragraph. Book 2, Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 1, The Worst Birthday. Not for the first time, an argument had broken out over breakfast at number 4 Privet Drive. Mr. Vernon Dursley had been woken in the early hours of the morning by a loud hooting noise from his nephew Harry's room.
All right, who's going to go first? We'll do paper, rock, scissors?
I'll go.
Oh, all right.
Harry, it's so good to see you.
Oh, that's so much better than mine. Love it. Okay. Mine starts out the same, but it kind of goes in a completely different direction.
That's why we have two people here. We got to get differing,
Yeah. Harry, who? He's not supposed to exist.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so, man, it just sucks that Harry had such a... Man, could you call it a good year with everything that went on? Like, I guess in retrospect, he
says yes.
Yeah.
And then he's like, but it wasn't all good.
Yeah.
Right.
But now he got sent back to the Dursleys, man. You just got to imagine how he feels. He got away from them finally. And here he is. He's back.
Here he is.
He's back over there. Ah, what a terrible way to end a brilliant school year.
Yes.
It's not fair. So, obviously, Harry's back at number 4 Privet Drive with his Uncle Vernon, Aunt Petunia, and his cousin Dudley. The big pink beach ball.
That's right.
Quick reminder. The Dursleys hate everything magic or anything that might draw unwanted attention to them for being strange or odd. So, Harry having an owl in the house is obviously annoying. Uncle Vernon won't allow Harry to let Hedwig out at night, so he can't send or receive letters from other wizards or witches, which he actually brings that up as a point, right? I'm not going to let you that ruddy owl out, so we get letters and owls flying in at all times of the night. Yeah. So, as they're sitting down for breakfast, Harry is asked to pass the frying pan so Dudley can get more bacon, which more bacon's always good.
On point, yes.
Yes. Crispy bacon.
No. Absolutely not.
Wiggly bacon for you, huh?
That's right. That's what my 4-year calls it. Wiggly bacon.
So Harry, irritated, responded, "You've forgotten the magic word." And then I can only imagine. He said, "You've forgotten the magic word." Oh, crap. Big mistake. The Dursleys overreacted, of course, at the word magic. And falling, yelling, gasping ensued. Everything. Oh, man. Just pure chaos. Harry isn't allowed to say magic in the house because, with the Dursleys, especially Dudley, he had a bad experience with Hagrid last year, and they haven't forgotten this experience. And as Vernon points out, there's no such thing as magic. Obviously, he has to come to terms with that. So, this is something out of the ordinary. It's imaginative, and he doesn't approve of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so she kind of sets the stage of where the household tensions lie. And then JK kind of summarizes book 1, which I found annoying when I was reading it. I get why she did it because the books are so new. I don't think she understood how big book 1 would be, but it's like who just picks up the second book in a series and starts going?
I thought about recapping where we left off, and then I went, you know what? I'm pretty sure we've pounded book 1 into the ground.
Yeah,
and people would be annoyed that we did that. So
Yeah. But we'll give it grace. She wanted to make sure that whoever, it's the TV shows. Now that you can binge TV shows, it's like I need the skip recap button.
Last week on.
Last week on.
Well,
I
when you
just
grow
finished
up,
it.
when you grow up, seeing that stuff it's burnt into your head. Like if you watch this podcast on YouTube, I still have an intro. It's burned into my head. If I don't put an intro, I feel like it's incomplete. No matter if they tell me, your video would do better without the intro.
Nope.
I can't do it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So she kind of reviews the summary of Harry last year and Hogwarts and the Wizarding World and the Dursleys and their relationship, Voldemort, everything that the reader would know if they had read the first book. Here they talk about Quidditch, and she goes, Quidditch, it's the most popular wizarding sport, and Harry loved being on the broom, and it's. I don't think she needed it.
I can see why.
But,
I mean, to get people back, back into that thought process.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
This is the only book she does that, though, right? I'm pretty sure.
I think she sort of does it in book 3, but not to the extent that she does for book 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll find that out in a few months.
Towards the end of the year, yeah.
But we do learn that Harry's school supplies have all been locked in the cupboard under the stairs so that he can't get to them. And then after the summary, we learn that this family breakfast is all taking place on the morning of Harry's birthday, which is
September.
Nope.
I don't remember. I'm bad at birthdays.
July 31st.
July 31st. Okay.
Which is also J.K. Rowling's birthday.
That's right. Yep.
Different year.
Hey, did you guys see that recap? Did you hear that recap?
Yes. And today is Jeremiah's birthday.
Hey.
They're having this breakfast on Harry's birthday, but Harry's birthday hasn't actually been acknowledged or discussed. Though Vernon did announce that it was an important day because he was having a rich builder and his wife over for dinner, and Uncle Vernon was hoping to get a huge order from him because he works at Grunnings, which sells drills and drill accessories.
I can't wait for the King of the Hill reboot. I'm just waiting. You gotta rub the fact that I did not listen to this chapter, huh?
I am so excited because this is not an easy pop quiz. Not an easy pop quiz. So Uncle Vernon and the Dursleys have a plan for how the evening will go.
Yes.
They should arrive. The Masons should arrive at what time?
Oh, you got to throw the most.
I mean, I might just have to read this. You might not know any of this.
Well, this has nothing to do with any of the plot.
So they're supposed to show up at 8.
Okay.
And where will Petunia be?
In the lounge?
In the lounge, waiting to welcome them to their home graciously. And Dudley?
I want to say in the library, but that's not right.
I don't think number 4 has a library.
He'll be in the... I know he's somewhere waiting to take their coats.
So he's by the door.
Yeah.
Waiting to take the coats. Yes. Petunia will love them. So then he turns to Harry and says, and where will you be?
I'll be in my room making no noise and pretending that I don't exist.
Exactly. So then Vernon will lead them into the lounge, introduce Petunia, pour them drinks at 8:15, and then Aunt Petunia will...
I don't know.
announce dinner.
Okay.
And then Dudley, you'll say, may I take you through the dining room, Mrs. Mason? And Aunt Petunia says, well, he's just the perfect little gentleman. And Harry's like trying not to laugh at all this, right? He's trying because they're so serious. And then Uncle Vernon looks at Harry and he says, and you?
I'll be in my room making no noise, pretending that I don't exist.
Precisely. Now we'll get into a few compliments. Petunia, any idea?
That's a nice...
Vernon tells me you're a wonderful golfer.
Okay.
Do tell me where you bought your dress, Mrs. Mason. And my favorite, and Dudley, any ideas? We had to write an essay at school about who our hero was, and I wrote about you, Mr. Mason. Like, what? What is this?
This is the definition of laying it on thick.
Yes. And then for the third time, Uncle Vernon looks at Harry and says, and you?
I'll be in my room making no noise and pretending that I don't exist.
Right you are. I won't say you passed that pop quiz, but it was too fun.
No,
it was enjoyable.
It's great.
It was enjoyable. Just that whole elaborate, like, so it shows all of that to show Vernon is really looking forward to this meeting.
What? Rightfully so. I mean, if it's as big a deal as he's portraying it out to be, they could potentially be set. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to making more money for your family, yeah, you want things to go right. But this is a little much. This is a little much. Poor Harry.
Poor Harry.
Oh, man. The Masons don't know anything about Harry. I mean, come on. Vernon, he's your nephew. I think they'd be understanding about having a 12-year-old nephew that lives with you. Honestly, what's the big deal? The big deal is that Harry's a wizard, which no one's going to know. Nobody's going to know that.
That would not come up. That would not come up.
I have a question, Vernon. There's something strange about your son. Is he a wizard?
Is he a wizard?
They wouldn't. Yeah. They'd probably like you more if you fed them that sob story. Vernon is getting...
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine? This is my 12-year-old son. His mother and father were killed.
You know what?
And we took him in. We took him in. Tell me the Masons wouldn't love that.
They would. Wow. But now, the fact that they didn't work that in.
Now you want to hide him because you're afraid that... Yeah. Just tell the truth about him. It's the whole Hermione and the troll situation again. You gain nothing by lying about it. Children, if you're listening, don't tell lies.
Well, this just says that Vernon doesn't actually want the deal because this would be the nail in the coffin for the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes a sob story. Well, I don't like a sob story, but, a lot of people do.
But sympathy goes a long way, yeah.
Yes, it does.
Mr. Mason would be like, you know what, Vernon? You're the kind of guy we want to do business with.
Exactly.
If you're willing to do that.
I can just picture him. Out of the kindness of our hearts, we took in Harry when he had no place to go. Yes. Vernon is getting excited, though. If his plan is successful, he tells Petunia that they'll be shopping for vacation homes this time tomorrow, which I don't think it would be that instantaneous, but it's okay. I get the excitement.
Sure.
Vernon goes into town to pick up dinner jackets for him and Dudley, and Harry goes outside to be out of the way. And this is such a back in the day thing, or a rich people thing almost. Like, oh, I'm going to go get dinner jackets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he trying to do everything to get this deal.
I'll go home,
night to remember.
Put on my sweatpants, and then be like, so are we going to go out to eat? We're going to go to a restaurant? Hey, to be
fair. And that's why you're not looking for vacation homes tomorrow, Jeremiah.
Yeah, that's probably it. Hey, man, if I could wear these sweatpants to work, I wouldn't be complaining about work no more.
I dig it. I dig it.
He then sings a pitiful song of happy birthday to himself. This is Harry now. He hadn't received any mail from any of his friends. Nothing from Ron, nothing from Hermione, nothing from Hagrid, nothing from the Wizarding World. It hurt to feel totally forgotten, especially when they said that they were going to write to him. Pretty sure all of them said they were going to write to him, especially Ron. Yeah. Ron wanted him to come over, like, hey, come over. Yeah. Like, ugh.
Yeah, and especially, things go over and over in your head. And at one point, he's like, did it even really happen? Like, did I really go? Because now I'm here, and it's all just, it's two completely different worlds.
Oh, yeah.
And to now not have communication from the one world, and as he's, doing stuff later, I think he says to himself, like, oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the famous Harry Potter now. This is terrible.
So it doesn't really have anything to do with the chapter, but more of the series as a whole.
Yes, I'm listening.
I'm sure that you've watched, what is that movie? I have to think of the movie now. With the vampires.
Interview with the Vampire?
No, the vampires and the werewolves.
What We Do in the Shadows?
No. It's a three-parter. It's got that girl that's really overdoes all her looks. Twilight. Yes, okay.
Yeah, Twilight. Okay.
So I'm sure you've seen Twilight.
I have read and watched.
I want to read them, yeah. I'm sure the books are way better than the movies.
It's been a long time. I can't remember.
I'm a vampire. You don't want to see me in the sun because everybody will find out that when I start glistening in the sunlight, it's a dead giveaway. Okay. Yeah. The worst premise to a movie ever. But okay,
and an absolute garbage ending to a series. I've said it once, I'll say it a million times.
That's my point. So the third movie didn't actually happen. It was all.
I think there's 4 films. I think there's 3 books and 4 films. Am I right there?
I don't know. Whichever. The last one was more of a premonition. It didn't actually happen.
Yeah, the whole thing was like, they're all just this is what will happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what if at the end of the Harry Potter series.
I know this fan theory, and it makes me nauseous.
Harry, wake up! Cook breakfast and don't you dare burn it. And that's the end of the movie. That's the end of the series.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I would.
It kind of negates everything you just watched. Like, even though it's fake to begin with.
To have it all. Because here's the thing. We, as Harry Potter fans, we are engaged in the fantasy.
Yeah.
Right? Any fantasy there is that you're a fan, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, like you're in it. Like you have accepted this fantasy world as something that would just be so awesome.
Yeah.
Like it would be so cool. And then for it to be, and I'll tell you what, another book series with an absolute trash ending is Stephen King wrote the Dark Tower series. Great series. And it starts with a very iconic line, the man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger chased him, pursued or whatever. I can't remember it verbatim, but it's like, it is an action-packed, like plot-twisting series of books. And then you get to the end of the last book, spoiler alert, going to read the Dark Tower series, which great series.
I think I have a couple Stephen King books in my audio library.
The one thing that I hate about Stephen King is he's such an amazing writer. He will if he's describing a room, that'll take like 10 pages just to describe the room, because he wants you to just see it so vividly. And like me, I'm like, okay, we're in a room. Next. Like, get me to that next part. So anyway, the point of that story is the gunslinger is trying to get to the Dark Tower, and it's taken several books for him to get there. So the ending is so horrible, it is so garbage, it is so trash, that Stephen King himself in the book says, if you like happy endings, stop reading now.
Oh.
He says that. Because it's like, oh my gosh, we've accomplished what we need to do. He goes, but, there's more to the story. So I'm like, well, what's the rest of the story? So he goes up the Dark Tower. He's going through, and as he's going up the tower, he's kind of like, oh, I recognize all this. And then he gets to the door, and he's like, wait, I recognize this. And he opens the door, and he sees the man in black fleeing across the desert. And he realizes that he's done this many times. So he tries to pull away from the door so that it doesn't repeat itself, and he can't. So it ends with him in the desert pursuing the man in black. So it's like, what? It's just on some...
So it sounds like it ends where it started.
Exactly. And it's just like, oh my God. But a great series. A great series.
Well, yeah.
That you probably won't read now because I've ruined it.
Well, just like Twilight, is Twilight the best series ever? No. But it was out. It was everywhere. I got into it. Like I said, I want to read the books. However, man, the last film was just like a middle finger to everybody.
Here's what I didn't like about the ending. The good guys and the bad guys are still alive.
Yeah, nothing.
The good guys and the bad guys, bad guys aren't in jail. Bad guys are still alive. They both still exist. They just kind of walk away. And it's like, that's not how it works.
Well, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I was in the theater watching it, and almost everybody
You're into it.
Almost everybody in there was pissed. They're like, what?
Yeah. I had read the book, so I knew what was happening, and even then, I was still upset. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine at the end of book 7, Harry and Voldemort are like, just, I know how this ends. Walk away, and they both just walk away after everything that Voldemort's done.
The only thing I could say is if the series ended with Petunia pounding on the door, telling Harry to wake up,
I would.
You could redo the whole entire series. That's the only thing. But some books, some movies have great beginning, middle, and end. Other ones, they're like, yeah, I gave it my all, and I got nothing for this last one.
They miss, yeah. We went down a few rabbit holes there. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, I'll go Moana. That was not Moana 2, so...
Oh, God.
I knew you were...
Did you watch it yet?
No, they didn't bring back Lin-Manuel Miranda. Why am I going to watch it?
They didn't sing You're Welcome.
No.
The whole... The most popular thing from the first movie, you don't include it in the second? Really? Oh,
I'm sure I'll watch it. I loved the first Moana.
Oh, yeah. No, I got to watch the second one again, lower my expectations a little bit. But anyway.
Okay, so let's recap where we are in Harry Potter.
You had to go
So Harry's outside, and he's thinking about, haven't gotten any mail, any presents, nothing from my friends from the Wizarding World, because he's famous. Harry Potter is famous. You'd think somebody would send him something.
I am the chosen one.
Yeah, and so now he's like, did it even happen? But he starts thinking about everything that is Hogwarts that happened at Hogwarts, and he talks about all the good things, thinks about all the good things. But then he thought about barely escaping Voldemort for a second time. Obviously, first time when he was a baby, second time last year. And then she mentioned something that I don't think really gets enough attention, that it had been a few weeks or several weeks since school was out, but he's still waking up in the middle of the night, drenched in cold sweat, wondering where Voldemort was now. So 11-year-old Harry, now turning 12, is going through PTSD.
Well, you got to think he can't relay this to the Dursleys either.
Can't
One,
talk
they're
to
not
the
going to want to hear
Dursleys.
it. Two, they're not going to believe him.
Yeah. So he's thinking about all of this, and all of a sudden he realizes that this hedge that he's been kind of, dazed out, thinking about stuff. This hedge now is looking back at him. He sees these two big green eyes staring back at him. And he jumps up, like, what is this? And as he jumps up, he hears Dudley's voice from across the lawn, kind of jeering and mocking Harry, like, I know what today is. And then we get a little sassy Harry. Sassy Harry's like, oh, good, you finally learned the days of the week. I love it when Sassy Harry comes.
Yes.
But Dudley's like, look, I know it's your birthday, and I see you've got nothing from anyone. I thought that, all your friends at that school, they would have sent you something. And I love, he's like, and then he goes, why were you looking at that hedge? And Harry's like, oh, I was just thinking about what spell I'm going to use to set it on fire. And Dudley's like, you can't use magic. And then Harry's like, hookity, pookity, pookity. And Dudley's like, Mom!
Yeah, oh, man. But we love it when Harry is able to get a little bit of payback on Dudley.
Yeah.
Which always ends up with Harry getting the short end of the stick.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And Dudley
is still very afraid of magic. Now, on the other hand, Petunia and Vernon, I don't believe they're afraid of the magic. They just, especially Vernon, he just doesn't like it. He doesn't want to see it. He doesn't want to be involved with it.
Yeah.
He's scared of Hagrid. He's scared of Hagrid. We can get that. Yeah.
I could imagine that Petunia might have a fear of it just because of what happened to her sister, right? She knows the potential danger of it all, but I think she's more worried about her reputation on Privet Drive.
Well, Petunia could be more jealous isn't the right word. She could have like a sort of disdain for magic because she didn't get her chance. Yeah, she didn't get her chance.
Layers. There's layers to this story.
Yeah, so that's how we perceive all three of them feeling towards magic. And remember, at this point, Harry, he hasn't told the Dursleys that he's not allowed to do magic outside of school. So Dudley runs off yelling for his mom, which that's very Dudley. And of course, Harry got punished for it. As Harry cleaned the windows, washed the car, mowed the lawn, trimmed the flower beds, pruned and watered the roses, and repainted the garden bench, he began to think about what Dudley had just said. Maybe he really didn't have any friends.
Oh, man. Poor guy.
That's got to get to
Poor guy.
I mean, you're already thinking, well, my friends haven't sent me any letters. They said they were going to. And now Dudley's kind of pointing out what I'm already thinking.
Mm-hmm.
As he was still doing chores, 7:30 rolls along, and Harry is called inside and told to eat quickly and go upstairs. Remember, he's got to pretend that he doesn't exist. As he reached the upstairs landing, ding dong, and he got into his room. He was ready to collapse on his bed from the exhaustion of the day. The only thing was, there was already someone in his bed. And Harry's 12, so he doesn't have anybody over. So didn't have any friends.
So I remember the first time reading this book, he had just talked about a couple pages later, or prior, how he would wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in cold sweat, wondering where Voldemort was. And then the chapter ends with, there was already somebody on his bed. And I don't think I've ever flipped a page or like started a chapter quicker.
Oh my God, it's Voldemort.
Yeah, like what? No. No.
It's over already.
I remember that distinctly. Like, no. Harry.
I'm not waiting till tomorrow to read this chapter. It's happening now.
It's happening now. It would be like Voldemort. He cares so much. He wanted to wait until Harry was done with his chores.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Could have done this before I did my chores. How thoughtful of you.
Yes.
Oh, yes. New season, new book, same music. Final thoughts of Chapter 2. I'm going to go ahead and start this. This just puts you right back in it.
We have not done Chapter 2. Just throwing that out there.
Book two. My bad.
Wow, you were on.
It is my birthday, so I can make mistakes.
The worst birthday.
Yes. But yeah, no, book 2 puts you right back in it. You get a little teaser of a reminder of how the Dursleys work, how they function, how Harry gets punished for obviously not even using a real spell. I guess it would be obvious to Harry, maybe not obvious to them, but Harry getting in trouble over nothing. Dudley being treated like gold.
Dudley's the worst.
Yeah, and you just right back into it, and the end of the chapter just reels you in and makes you turn to the next page immediately.
Like, who is it?
What about you? What do you think about this chapter?
Well, I think it like you said, it puts us right back into our disdain for the Dursleys. Like I said, I was a little annoyed that we went through the recap, but I get, she was doing it for any newcomers and or people that had, recapped the first book. It's all good. But she got me immediately, just with the end of that paragraph, the chapter. I was like, oh, I'm in. I need to know it. I need to know what happens next.
Yeah, it worked on you, hook, line, and sinker.
Oh yeah, it got me. It got me.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on this journey of Book 2 of the Chamber of Secrets. We're just getting started. Andrew, go ahead and sign us out with that quote that you already have prepared. You have ready. It's a new start. We're not going to forget any longer.
Try not to cry. Dobby is happy to be with his friend, Harry Potter.
You had to go there too, huh?
I did. I went there, and it only felt right that it should be his quote today, and I didn't know which quote it was going to be. But
that's the one.
Absolutely amazing arc. Absolutely amazing arc.
If you started crying, squibscorner@gmail.com, all your hate mail I will forward to him. So let it flow.
Squibs Corner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobaugh and co-hosted by Andrew Beecham and myself. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review. To inquire about being a guest, or if you have questions, comments, or just want to give us your Harry Potter story, email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow Jeremiah's YouTube, Accio Potter Guy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram at Squibs Corner Podcast.